Hey guys, welcome back. It's Friday, so that means it's another time for another episode of Trucker Money. I'm home already, got home a little early. Kind of a bad week trucking, so I just said screw it, I'm going home. It's a nice day outside. Beautiful day. Got my dogs here with me, want to be in the video with me, so what more do you really need? If you're new to this, Trucker Money, we talk about everything in the world outside of trucking. Kind of what we're doing to earn extra money, investing, preparing for the future, preparing for a life outside of trucking. This is not investment advice, it's just my personal journey, and it's meant just to be inspirational and motivational to help you build a life outside of trucking so you don't have to retire eating dog food. So what we do first is we talk about for the week any extra money that I earned other than trucking and any additional investments I made over the course of the previous week. First, let me start off by talking about a few comments I received from the first episode. Some people seem to like it. Thank you very much. That's awesome. I'm glad to talk about it. And just some things I wanted to talk about. It wasn't really criticism. It was just more of conversations that people wanted to have. First of all, they say, well, Adam, you invested this money in the stock market. It seems kind of risky to invest in individual stocks. Why not just put it in an S&P index fund and don't worry about it over the course of time? You'll perform the same as the market does. That's a viable strategy for most people. It's even a viable strategy for me, but it doesn't align with my goals. My goals are for income. So I don't really match with the indexes here as far as performance. And the S&P and such carries so many things that I don't care about and don't invest in. So I don't really even watch the day-to-day. People say, oh, the market's up. It's not reality. You're right, it's not. The stock market is not on pace with the reality right now, but it never really is. And for the most part, I don't care because most people don't know this, but they say, oh, the Dow was up today, the Dow was down today. The Dow Jones Industrial only has 30 stocks in it, most of which I don't care about. So I don't pay any attention to that. Out of the S&P 500, I have 40 different holdings. So I don't really care what the indexes are doing. I care about my investments. And for the most part, my investments don't really track with the indexes. So just a quick explanation on that. Now, if you are the type that is an index investor or however you want to do it, if it's working for you and it's a viable strategy, more power to you. I'm all for it. I'm just sharing my personal journey and my goals. And in addition to that, people say, oh, it's all this stock market talk and stuff. Well, this isn't going to be all stock market all the time. This is only the second week. We'll get into some different things over time. And this weekend, you'll kind of see something different that I did to earn a little extra money. It was a good time, and it was hard work. Well, dogs see a bird, they need to go get. So let's get into it. For the week of 5/16 through 5/22 of 2020, I only got one dividend payment. That was from Starbucks. That happens to be today, on Friday. The yield on Starbucks is 2.1%. It's kind of a smaller to medium-sized holding for me. Not a core holding. I'll start giving you the yield on these investments as we go along. You say 2.1%. That's not great. It's not a very good return. Well, part of the strategy here is Starbucks raises their dividend aggressively every year. I think their compound annual growth rate on their dividend is in excess of 20%. So dividends will likely not be increased as much this year in 2020. We all know that. But a 20% increase, when you compound it, we all know how compounding growth works. They show you on your 401k, if you invest this much, but compounding over time, you'll have this much. Well, it works much the same with dividends, except for it's a little more exciting. I'll do a video on that someday. It's going to take a whole video to explain that, but it really could change the way you think about a lot of things. And it can be applied to more than just stocks, real estate, whatever. Anyway, say Starbucks pays $1 a year dividend right now, 43 cents a quarter, something like that. We'll just call it $1 a year for simple math. Next year, they raise that dividend 20%. So now instead of $1, it's $1.20. Okay, and then next year, 20% of $1.20 is $1.44. So you can see the exponential growth. Can they continue 20% growth a year? No, that's not realistic. But even, I think the right around the average for the entire market is around 5%, 3.5 to 5%, which when you compound that over a 30-year time horizon, is still really substantial. But we'll get into that a little more later. So I put a little bit of money in got a payment from Starbucks. That was my only payment. The only other income I earned was I kind of picked up some side work last weekend. I don't want to talk too much about it. Got a video coming out about it tomorrow. It's kind of something you probably never would have thought of, but it's interesting, so check it out. What did I buy for the week? Well, unrelated to stocks, I bought an additional 1 ounce of silver this week. I like silver. I like gold. I don't really see it as an investment. Of course, it doesn't pay me anything. I see it more as insurance. Insurance on my money. You buy insurance on your house. You buy insurance on your car. You buy health insurance. Why not buy insurance on your money? And how does that work? Well, just as briefly, gold and silver track inflation. So as your money gets devalued through inflation, these things kind of offset that. We'll get more into that going forward. This video will get too long talking about all the ins and outs of it. But if you've never held a silver coin in your hand, a real silver coin, or a little piece of gold, even a couple grams, when you hold gold in your hand, it's just mesmerizing. You recognize the value instantly. You're like, oh, this is valuable. So even if you're not economically interested in it, it's just cool to have. I made 5 different contributions, added to 5 different positions. First one would be Verizon with a current yield of 4.56%. Procter & Gamble at 2.83%. 3M, 4.03%. I just love 3M. As far as my individual holdings go, this is one of the biggest ones. The company regularly over, I think they're at 63 years, it's right around there of consecutive increases. I also can't remember if it's 3M or Johnson & Johnson. One of those two companies. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. Makes something like 55,000 different products just in their one company. So owning that one company by itself is like owning a mutual fund. I just can't say enough good things about 3M. And then we have Prudential, current year yield 7.78%. This company's been hit hard by this situation we're in right now. It's a smaller position for me. I find it somewhat speculative, not much. Prudential's been a rock solid company for years. It's just a matter of their dividend being solid or not. They have plenty of money to pay it right now. The yield is artificially high because their stock price has been just basically cut in half. I'm not going to add too much to this over time, just when I see an opportunity, because I don't want it to become too much of a percentage of my overall holdings. The dogs see something they got to go get. The last one will be PPL. It's a regulated utility. Current yield of 6.46%. I like regulated utilities. They just seem to be more steady and level over time. They have good yields. They don't generally raise their dividends all that much every year, like maybe 3%. But you get that higher starting yield to give you some current income right now rather than waiting till later. So overall, it was kind of a slow week for me. Really excited to hear from some of you, though. I love to hear other people's personal wins and successes. Maybe you paid off your last credit card or a student loan or a car loan, or getting close to paying off that mortgage, or heck, maybe you were able to pick up something over the weekend where you made 50 or $100. Doesn't sound like a lot, but you do that regularly. That can be substantial, and plus it's good to get your mind away from trucking. I don't know too many other occupations where 24/7 you just got to be thinking about your job and your business. It's not healthy, and I don't think a dentist does that. I hope he doesn't go home at night thinking about teeth. So anyway, y'all take care. Look for that video tomorrow, and we'll talk to you next week.